Hello, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Patterson. We're going to do one of the most difficult lessons on pronouns, but I know you can get it. There are 3 rules that you need to take down here and look at the words in bold because it's very important to determine if you're going to choose a subject and object pronoun to complete a sentence that you always find the verb first and then determine what type of pronoun to use. 3 simple rules. That's it. So number 1, always use a subject pronoun as the subject before the verb, and always name yourself last. Number 2, use a subject pronoun after a linking verb. Here are some of the most popular linking verbs: be, am, is, are, was, were, appear, become, feel, look, seem, smell, taste. So 2 times that you would pick a subject pronoun, before the verb or after the linking verb. And then the 3rd rule is it's an object pronoun after an action verb. So always find the verb first, then to decide if it's before the verb, subject. After a linking verb, subject. After an action verb, object. That's it. Very easy. So let's practice. Number your paper 1 to 5. In this exercise, you are going to choose the correct pronoun and also name, is it a subject pronoun that you chose or an object pronoun? You might want to get your notes out too that you have your subject and pronoun charts on so you can look at which ones are which. So remember what I said, always find the verb first. So number 1, my classmates and I or me have pen pals. So if I find the verb in that sentence, it's have. So since it comes before the verb, rule number 1, always choose subject. Number 2, my teacher helped Denise and I or me. So I find the verb, my teacher helped is the verb, helped is actually an action verb, so I'm going to choose object because it comes after an action verb. Number 3, the writer of the best letter was she or her. So I find the verb, and the verb is actually was, which is a linking verb. Rule number 2, if it comes after a linking verb, which it does, you always choose subject. Number 4, she or her and Diego decided to work together. Well, the verb is decided in this sentence, and it comes before, so I'm always going to choose subject. And finally, number 5, Denise asked him or he and Carl some helpful questions. So I find the verb in the sentence is asked. So since it comes after, and asked is an action verb, rule number 3, object. So if you didn't finish filling out which correct pronoun and what type of pronoun it is, please do so right now. The next page has the answers. So here are your answers. Number 1, like I said, comes before the verb, always choose subject, which is I. Number 2, comes after an action verb, always choose object. The action verb here was helped, so I'm going to choose me. Number 3, if it comes after a linking verb, which was is a linking verb, I'm going to choose subject, she. It doesn't sound right. The writer of the best letter was she. Sounds kind of funny, but we have to follow the rules, and the rules state if it comes after a linking verb, choose subject. Number 4 is she, which is subject because it comes at the beginning of the sentence before all the verbs. You always choose subject. And number 5, it's him, which is object because asked is an action verb. So if it comes after an action verb, rule number 3, you always choose object. Here's some more practice for you. This time I'm not going to help you finding the verbs. I want you to find them on your own and look at the 3 rules and determine which is the best pronoun and what kind of pronoun it is. Remember, find the verb. Comes before the verb, always subject. Comes after a linking verb, subject. After an action verb, object. So number 1, find the verb. Then decide which one you're going to pick and write down, is it subject or object? Number 2, find the verb. Where does it come? Does it come before the verb or after the verb? And what kind of verb is it? Decide which pronoun, is it a subject or object? Number 3, find the verb. Then determine what kind of verb is it. Is it linking or action? Then determine which kind of pronoun you're going to choose, subject or object. Number 4, find the verb. Does it come before the verb or after the verb? What are you going to choose, subject or object? And finally, number 5, find the verb. What kind of verb is it? Is it subject? Is it a linking verb? Choose subject. If it's an action verb, choose object. Pause it here if you need to. Here are your answers. Number 1, I'm going to choose I because the verb is wrote, comes before. I'm always going to choose subject, I. Number 2, again, the verb is wrote. It comes before the verb, always choose subject, she. Number 3, it comes after the verb, are. Are is a linking verb, so I'm always going to choose subject, they. Number 4 comes before the verb. It's the first word in the sentence. So always before the verb, always choose subject, they. And then finally, number 5, delight is the verb, which is an action verb. So I'm always going to choose the object pronoun, us. One more final page of practice. So you need to complete this letter. Use subject and object pronouns. The first one's done for you. So remember, still in the sentence, find the verb. Then decide, am I going to choose subject or object? Then you need to decide which one do you think you need to choose to make the most sense. So number 1, Mom and I just heard some wonderful news. So the verb is heard. Comes before it, always choose subject, I. Dad is going on a 2-week business trip. Normally his trips do not make Mom and blank happy. Find the verb. Decide, is it subject or object? This one is different. Dad's boss and blank are going to Australia. Where's the verb? Does it come before, after? What kind of verb is it? What am I going to choose? Their Australian partners and blank have to discuss plans for new factories. So where's the verb? If it comes before, choose subject. Comes after, decide, is it a linking or action? Then what pronoun are you going to choose? What an excited pair Mom and blank are. So where's the verb? What kind of pronoun are you going to choose? Why? Dad can take Mom and blank with him on the trip. Where's the verb? What kind of pronoun are you going to choose? So if you didn't finish, hit pause. The answers are coming up. Here they are. Mom and I was already done for you. Just heard some wonderful news. Dad is going on a 2-week business trip. Normally his trips do not make Mom and me happy. So, do not make is the verb. It's an action verb. So I'm going to choose object, me. This one is different. Dad's boss and he are going to Australia. Dad's boss and aren't verbs. It comes before the verb of are. So I'm going to choose subject, he. They're business partners and they have to discuss plans for a new factory. Have to discuss is the verb section. Comes before. I'm going to choose subject, they. What an excited pair Mom and I are. The verb is are. Comes before, subject, I. Why? Dad can take Mom and me with him on the trip. Can take is the verb. It's an action verb. So I'm going to choose object, me. So hopefully you got enough practice. I know this is tricky, but remember your rules. Before a verb, always subject. After a linking verb, always subject. After an action verb, always object. Those are the 3 rules. Find the verb, decide the pronoun. Good luck.